to good use and find himself on the podium with Garcia and Acosta joining him on row 1. Fallon, Cook and championship leader Artigas are there on row 2 of the grid, with row 3 another 3 contenders, Gerard Rio, Nicolas Spinelli, and look out for the Brazilian Diogo Moreira.
Yeah, Filippo Palazzi completes the top 10 ahead of Fernandez and Fusco. Salvador starts from 13 ahead of Munoz and Kazuki Masaki, with Clement Rouget and Munoz and Senna Agius on row 6. Remember, Agius got involved in a crash at turn 1 earlier on today.
Here are the guys you need to look out for then. On row 7 of the grid, Bouasri and Ogden have made good progress so far, but no man has made better progress than the 28 of Ethan Guevara. Once again, he starts from row 8 of the grid. Can he come up with more Motorland magic?
Yes, and on row 10 we have Asman, Rehacek and Dief. And on the final row of the grid we have Jose Rueda starting ahead of Hasegawa and Vostatek. He has come from 32nd on the grid twice this weekend to finish 12th and 13th across the 2 races. So he's gained almost 40 positions on aggregate across his 2 races already this weekend.
Yeah, he's another man that's really gone under the radar, I think, as Jose Rueda, despite only picking up, 5-6 points throughout the 2 days so far. It has been a sensational performance from him, and it really doesn't do justice what he's had to do from the penultimate row of the grid. He'll hoping to do it again and maybe find himself inside the top 10. He's certainly got experience of it now, as has Ethan Guevara. Reminder that on lap 1 yesterday, he picked up 11 places, and on lap 1 earlier today he picked up the pathetic 10 places instead. So that's what we're dealing with on lap 1. Keep your eye on the black helmeted Aspar number 28 of Ethan Guevara. He'll be the man bobbing and weaving his way through the field.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier on, he's made it look easy, but it isn't, because you have to get a good start, because he's in a position, we're starting so far back, he's basically got to make no mistakes throughout the race, because if he gets a bad start from 22nd on the grid and finds himself down in 24th or 25th at the end of the first lap, his race in terms of challenging for the win is over. He almost has to make up 9, 10, 11 places on the first lap to get himself in touch before the field starts to split up, and the natural spread of the field leaves him way too far back. So he's having to be aggressive on that very first lap, and he is doing exactly that. But as I mentioned, there's so much that can go wrong on the first lap of the race, particularly at turn 1, which is so tight and so congested. Of course, the crash that happened early on in the race involving Senna Agius and Bouasri, those 2 riders started just a couple of places ahead of him. Bouasri was 2 places ahead of him on the grid, and Agius was 4 places ahead of him on the grid. So easy for an incident like that to take out Guevara if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
The guys on the first and second rows of the grid will be more determined than ever. I can hear the talk between the team manager and the rider at the conclusion of race 1 today. What on earth are you playing at? Why are you letting a lad from row 8 on the grid win the race again? Okay, boss, I'll try and stop it this time around. Unfortunately, they've had no response to him so far, as Guevara, despite the penalty on Friday, well, not penalty, he penalised himself from qualifying all the way down on row 8, has somehow managed to find himself just 15 points now adrift of Xavi Artigas in the fight to become the junior world champion in 2020 and join an illustrious list of names. Meanwhile, we've got a little bit of a tit-for-tat going on as we make their way to the grid between, I think that is the number 24 of Leonardo Taccini and his compatriot Raffaele Fusco. I'm not sure what happened there, but the pair of them were doing some rather interesting hand gestures towards one another. Probably just riling themselves up, ready to go to battle. 15 laps ahead of the Junior Moto3 World Championship. The red flag moves away. It's Holgado, Garcia and Acosta on the front row once again. We wait for the lights to come on, and the final bit of Junior World Championship action here in Aragon is underway. A short, sharp burst down to turn 1. We've seen Holgado take the whole shot on 2 occasions so far this weekend, and he's done it again, and once again it's 3 or 4 bike lengths clear of Acosta, who settles into second.
Yeah, they've held station amongst the leading 6 to 2. The leading Husqvarna riders got pushed way out wide at turn 1, but Masaki and Fernandez were on the wrong side of the racetrack, unfortunately for them, at the first corner. Holgado still leading Garcia, looking to get up the inside, but he can't quite do it on Acosta, and he's now under pressure from Lorenzo Fallon as they go into the tight left-hander. Artigas is still there, he's still running in 6th at the moment. I think he's actually gained the players up to 5th as Max Cook has dropped back as they come through the first sector at the moment. Ethan Guevara is up 5 places already to 17th.
Holgado goes wide, he goes well wide, and he dropped from 1st down to 4th place. Now 5th is in because both Artigas and Valon are looking for a way through, but fair play to Holgado. He holds on around the outside and keeps himself in 3rd place. An early mistake from Holgado, and that hands the lead to Pedro Acosta.
Yeah, the last thing he needs was a little mini high side there in the middle of the pack, as well as the riders fight for grip on the exit of turn 9, and they round turn 10. But it is Acosta at the moment who's got the lead. Garcia's having a look at 14th already.
Absolutely incredible. He's doing it again. No jump start. So once again, he's timed that start to perfection. And I'm sure, as we saw earlier in the day, bit of a moment there for one of the Reali Avinti guys, and another one. I think that was Adrian Fernandez. Someone's gone straight on. Probably one of the Munoz brothers. It looks like the green of the number 7 Daniel Munoz.
He's down as well.
Yeah, he's crashed out as Daniel Munoz. Disaster for the number 7 on the first lap of this race here, and it looks as though it was disaster for Adrian Fernandez as well, because the younger brother of Ralph Fernandez has been caught up in that one and finds himself 18th as a result. Meanwhile, Guevara already up to 11th. 11 places in the space of a lap. He's on the charge once more. Look out for the number 28, because here he comes.
Yeah, he is. He looked like he got swallowed up a bit on the run down to the final corner, actually, so he might have lost a place. He comes across the line. He is 11th, so he did hold station. There's already a little bit of a break in the group, look, as you look at Max Cook, I think might be towards the back of that group as they come through turn 1. He crossed the line in 8th position, but I think he got swallowed up a little bit at the end of that straight. But the 8 riders at the front are away and clear, and Gerard Ryu leads a second group, which involves Guevara.
Well, it looks as though the break in the group here is because of Nicolas Spinelli going down. The man that started from the middle of the second row. He's crashed out at turn 16 and was just ahead of Max Cook in the opening stages of this one. So his crash at turn 16 may well have caused the guys just to sit up a little bit as they flicked left for 16 and 17. There he is, the Italian, fortunately walking away. I'm not surprised he looks a little bit battered and bruised as a result of going down at turn 16, this super fast left-hander. Holgado on the move, up to second. He's past Acosta.
Yeah, he is, and Jose Julian Garcia continues to lead the way. He's had a very, very consistent run of late. Podiums in the last 3 races, although the last 2 of those, which have come this weekend, of course,
were 1.1 seconds quicker than the second fastest man out on track.
And he's just carved his way past Salvador as well as they go through the fast left-hander there of turn 3. Guevara is flying. He's in that leading group. It's not taking him long. I did mention at the end of that first lap that there was a bit of a split in that group, which would have been a concern to him, but it's not concerning him at all. He's already passed Salvador, and he's just carved up the inside of Moreira too, I think, just as they flash through the frame. I make it 6th position already for him.
Absolutely. 5 in race 2. He probably is going to be there by lap 4 this time around. Quite sensational from Guevara. Thought he was going to slow down as we went through the weekend. Unfortunately for the guys in front of him, he's getting quicker and quicker and quicker. Meanwhile, at the front, it's still Artigas, the championship leader, that leads the way. Holgado there in second. Garcia in third, with Valon now in fourth. Acosta has just lost out over the past half a lap because he's dropped down to 5th.
Yeah, and if you think you're getting deja vu, imagine what these guys will think when they see that 28 up with them. They'll think, oh, not him again. The rider who just carved his way through the field in race 1 and race 2 of this weekend took victories in both from 22nd on the grid, and he's doing it again. And it'll almost be a bit of a mental edge on these riders because these guys know that once he gets to the front, he is so hard to beat.
Incredible stuff from Guevara so far, but the same has to be said for Max Cook in the back of the picture there. The number 30, a second race today after suffering a broken pelvis just 1 month ago, but he's gritted his teeth and trying to go with this leading 8 group. Fair play to Max Cook, the Swindonian. He's certainly showing what sort of a warrior he is.
Once again, Guevara way faster than everyone else. So 2 minutes, 0.119 on that lap. The only rider that I can see in the 2 minutes, well, there were 2 riders. Moreira just behind him, who's probably taking a nice bit of slipstream from his rival. But also Artigas, a quick lap from him, just inside 201s. And he's pulled out a 3/10 lead. Perhaps Artigas is well aware that, well, increase the pace because he's already under pressure from not only the main contender in this race, but his main championship contender.
I'm honestly lost for words once again. We didn't think he'd be able to go any better. He's going to hit the front on lap 4, having started. There he goes, hits the front. Unbelievable from Ethan Guevara. He was 22nd on the grid 3.5 laps ago, and now he's leading the Junior World Championship race. He's done it once before, he's done it twice before, but it's still an amazing achievement. What a rider this kid is.
I'm almost wondering, the pace he's shown over these first 2 laps, he might have the pace to just break these guys. He's hitting the front, as you say, so early in the race. He might as well just continue on this rhythm. This amazing pace he's setting and just ask the riders behind him, okay, chaps, everything to try and even do a 2 minutes .9 at the moment. Artigas will look to try and just latch himself onto the rear wheel of Guevara and try and match his pace. But this is an astonishing ride. We've seen it twice already. We've seen this movie twice already. This is the 3 call now for Ethan Guevara, but it doesn't get any less impressive. Even if he's now losing the lead to Artigas, this is an incredible ride from Ethan Guevara as the 3 championship contenders, the leading 3 championship contenders, now go wheel to wheel at the front.
Well, following him in race 1 and 2 hasn't worked so far for Artigas and Acosta, so they're going to have to go for a different tactic. They're going to have to get the elbows and the knees out and try and be as aggressive as possible and not allow Guevara to get into any kind of rhythm at the front, which is easier said than done when he just motors around the outside of them into turn 1.
Yeah, he's so quick off the corners, isn't he? We've seen him in the first 2 races already, out of turn 15 onto the back straight. He gets such a good run coming out of that corner that there's nothing that anyone can do. Artigas tried it yesterday, and earlier on today, Pedro Acosta tried it. They just couldn't get the inside as Garcia now gets involved. Takes 2 and 1 through turn 3. The 4th of our championship contenders now getting himself in on the action.
What a move that was from Garcia, 2 in 1 through the super brave turn number 4. He flicked his way through there up the inside of not only Artigas but Acosta as well. A brilliant move from the 658 Quadricorsa man, but a move like that and a response from Acosta is just giving Guevara a little bit of a comfort buffer out front. I'm sure it won't be like that for long, but once again it's Guevara who's more than happy to just lead the way in this race.
Yeah, Guevara still leads then. His teammate Holgado is next up behind these top 4 championship contenders who lead this race at the moment. Holgado runs 5th ahead of David Salvador. Diogo Moreira completes the top 7 ahead of Lorenzo Fallon. Then there's a slight gap of just a second to Max Cook, who's running in a little bit of isolation at the moment in 9th position. He's just 1.3 seconds off the back of this, but he's got a comfortable enough buffer to get the rub of the green through turn 1. They found themselves on the outside and got pushed out wide. We saw them come on strong late in the race yesterday, but they're going to have to come from a long way back today.
Well, here are the men 1, 2, 3, 4 in the championship picture at the moment. Guevara, Acosta, Garcia and Artigas all tucked in behind one another as we go down the back straight. They then fan out 3 abreast with Acosta and Garcia all managing to find a way through on Guevara, and Artigas will follow suit as well. So suddenly, in a blink of an eye, the 16-year-old New Yorker is dropped from 1st to 4th.
Yeah, he's in a good position though now though as they come across the southwest line right in front of us out of the window, and he's going to get a 3-bike slipstream as we come into turn 1. That just tells you just how windy it is.
So Artigas, championship leader, that leads the way. Pedro Acosta settled into seconds there as they'll then flick left here for turn 15. Down the back straight to complete lap number 7 very shortly. Guevara, meanwhile, has got himself back in front of Salvador, but it looks as though Salvador is edging ever closer to a move back in front of the number 28. He's very shortly going to pop out from behind the black helmeted Aspar machine. Is the bright yellow helmeted number 38. No way through though, so Guevara will hold on to that top 5 spot. And this is exactly what Lewis was saying just 1 lap ago. Artigas will lead out to the final corner, but where will he find himself as we exit turn number 1?
Yeah, let's have a look. It looks like Holgado's got a very, very good run out of there, and he's going to be up the inside now. Will he lead through turn 1? Yes, he does. There are 2 Estrella Galicia bikes in the leading group, and a shout out for one that you'll see just flashing through the back of the screen there. That's Jose Rueda, 32nd on the grid. Personal best a couple laps ago. He's up 20 places. He's in 12th now, and just 3.8 seconds off the lead.
Putting Ethan Guevara to shame with a ride like that. Guevara has picked up 20 places of his own at one stage throughout the race, but it looks as though Rueda is just going to continue his charge forward. He may well have found his glass ceiling now with his last lap very similar to the guys in front of him, but at the moment he's well on course for maybe back in a top 10 finish with what is a leading group of 8. Maybe, soon to become a leading group of 9 with Adrian Fernandez, the bright yellow Husqvarna, just in the back of your picture right there, starting to creep his way forward and into contention.
Yeah, he matched the leader Holgado on that last lap, but of course the leader across the line was Garcia, who then got shuffled back. So he is gradually pulling these guys back in, and if they continue to squabble like this, it's going to play into his hands nicely. And of course, it took him a little bit of time yesterday to get in touch with the leading group. He only caught them with a couple laps to go. If he can get there a little bit earlier this time, look at that for a move from Guevara. That's very, very tight. The two Aspar riders coming together. He came from way too far back there. He was coming from third position. He was trying to attack for second, and in the end, found his teammate right in the middle of the corner where he was, trying to place his Aspar bike. And Nico Tirol will not be pleased with that one.
He will have his head in his hands, will Nico Tirol. Contact between the two Aspar teammates, with Holgado as a result demoted to 7th and Guevara back to 9th. He's got it all to do all over again. Has the number 28 of Ethan Guevara. That will be music to the ears of the leading three. He's done it once before. I'm sure he'll be able to do it once again as he tries to close back in onto the rear wheel of Adrian Fernandez. But you're exactly right, Lewis. That was Guevara's mistake. It was a move that he didn't have to make, and he very nearly brought himself down and his teammate too.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if he was trying to overtake his teammate initially. He was sitting third as they went into turn 12. He was going up the inside of second place into turn 12, and I'm not even sure whether the leader was actually in his eyesight. He was trying to take second place, and all of a sudden he couldn't slow the bike down. Exactly what has happened. He was now up to 7th place, I think. He's ahead of both of the Aspar bikes, who are now finding themselves at the tail of this group in 8th and 9th.
Have to get another replay of that. You know, I'm not sure, given the fact that he's won both races this weekend from so far down on the grid, his confidence must be absolutely sky high. And you know what? He probably felt like he could do both of them, and he very nearly did as well. Holgado was late on the brakes himself and cut across the front end of Guevara. Probably a bit of a racing incident, but it still goes down as a lunge from Guevara to try and take both second and first into turn 12. And there is Nico Tirol just to the right of your picture. Dagger eyes coming from the Aspar team.
You can imagine the famous together at the moment. Guevara looks like he's just taken Holgado at the same corner that they nearly clashed last time around, turn 12. So Guevara, I think, is now up into 8th position, the leader of the two Aspar bikes. But they've now got a lot of ground to make up. Still 6 laps to go as they cross the line at the end of this lap, so plenty of time for them to make up that ground. But at the moment, the two Aspar riders have got plenty of work to do.
Well, David Salvador, for the first time this weekend, is properly announcing himself as a contender to pick up race victory here. He's going to move back a further place thanks to Garcia, but a 6th place finish and a 7th place finish earlier on today. He's always been there this weekend, but he's always been on the periphery. It looks like he's had enough of that, and he's wanting to get right amongst it here with now 6 laps to go.
Yeah, he's found himself on the outside though here. Whether he can hold off Artigas, I don't think. Yeah, Artigas on the inside, he takes a second.
Hasn't. Yes, he has. Oh, no, he hasn't. Sorry. The flash of orange in front of Artigas. I thought it was Acosta, but instead he's had to give way in the end. An audacious effort from Acosta. Fair play for even trying. But he sees himself stay there in 4th place. We talk about Holgado possibly just losing his rhythm as a result of that touch from his teammate Guevara. Well, it's certainly not affected Ethan Guevara. He did drop down to mid now, settling into 6th, just off the rear of Lorenzo Fallon. And we've not mentioned the Frenchman all race. He's been there all race long, and he's well in contention here of bettering his best result of the year so far, which is came earlier on this weekend, a 4th place finish in race 1.
Yeah, he set his personal best lap that time round as well, did Fallon, so he's getting quicker as this race goes on. Moreira is dropping down time screens, and that is why he's gone down at turn 14. That's a corner that caught out a few riders earlier on in the race. Fortunately, once again this weekend, showing his speed, showing his potential, but also showing his inexperience.
Yeah, nothing to show for it in the end, and there is the frustration and the realisation of the Australia Galicia talent team mechanic when he realises that his number 92 rider isn't going to come across the line. He's out of it and out of contention. They're left with just one now, the number 5 Lorenzo Fallon, flying that blue flag of the Australia Galicia concern. He's going to try and get going again. Is the number 92, the young Brazilian. He's obviously not going to pick up any points. He'll rejoin in 29th place. In fact,
it was collateral damage for that, but he's rehearsed it once and he's now made it stick. His teammate is actually on the move as well further back. We just saw him going up the inside for 6th position, I believe it was. We'll keep an eye on him. In fact, we shall see. 4 laps to go as they come out of the final corner now with Artigas enjoying a slight advantage. Fallon going very wide on the into the final corner just in front of us, which will cost him drive down the main straight. But Guevara now having a look up the inside. 3 abreast into turn 1, and Guevara takes 2nd place from Jose Julian Garcia.
That's the most defensive I've seen Artigas on the run down the start-finish straight. He had Guevara tucked in behind him, and he knew that someone was there as well. Meanwhile, we've got another fall here, to number 81 of Senna Aji that's gone down. Another disappointment for him after he crashed. 58 rider, the Australian that crashed out in the European talent. Go back and front in this one now, and here comes Guevara once more, diving through down the inside into Turn 7, a little bit of bumping and barging behind as Fernandez is out of the seat. It allows Salvador, Holgado and Fallon to have a good look up the inside of the youngsters. There's only 3.5 laps remaining, but Fallon has just as much chance of winning this one as any of the leading 8 riders.
Yeah, you can imagine the motivation here for Javier Artigas in second place. He's seen Guevara come from 22nd on the grid twice already this weekend to beat him, to just take a bite, which actually, look at that, he's putting some manners on him in no time. That's the second time Guevara's found himself on that piece of racetrack.
He knew exactly what he was doing there, Xavi Artigas. He hung him out to dry to the number 43. He is fed up with Guevara making him look a little bit silly this weekend, and the championship leader has flexed his muscles there, just nudging Guevara out wide from turn number 12. That is what we love to see. About 3 laps to go very shortly, and that is certainly going to ignite one hell of a fight as we come to the start-finish line for the 12th time of asking.
Yeah, 10-12 has not been Ethan Guevara's friend in this race, has it? That's twice now, as I mentioned, that he's found that piece of run off. He's 5th in the train at the moment, so he'll get quite a good run out of this final corner as Artigas leads it. 3 to go then. Artigas' lead is next to nothing, and as you can see now, it's almost disappearing. Once again, he takes that defensive line, but is Garcia going to go around the outside of him? Yes, he does. So that defensive line down the main straight did not serve Artigas well at all. Guevara's pulled one position back now. He's gone on the inside and taken Salvador for 4th position. But this is what we were talking about with Artigas earlier on. He was up and down the field like a yo-yo. This time it's Guevara who's having a bit of a messy outcome, but he still looks rapidly fast while he's doing it.
He certainly does, and you can be almost guaranteed if he gets alongside as he makes a mistake there. He's pushed a little bit wide by Salvador, and he's allowed 2 men to go through. Holgado, his teammate, also capitalising, but here comes Guevara biting back on teammate Holgado. It's all changed once again, but he has to battle his way back through. And what I was going to say is I can understand why Artigas put in a move like that on Guevara, because this is such a pivotal race. If they're first and second, a 10-point swing in this championship either way could be absolutely vital. Artigas either heads to Valencia 20 points in front or just 10, and I know it's only 10 points, but when you're dealing with 20
in a few weeks' time, if it's only 10 points, then Guevara would know that if he wins all 3 races in Valencia, he wins the title, whatever Artigas does. But plenty of water to flow under the bridge before then, because it's Jose Julian Garcia, who we should not rule out. He's 4th in the points at the moment, 32 off the lead. He can slingshot himself right into contention with a victory here. Pedro Acosta looking to do the same. He's now 3rd in the queue in 3rd position and 3rd in the championship. Artigas now having a look up the inside. He's in the slipstream down this back straight. We'll keep an eye 4 in the race with just 2 laps to go as they cross the line here.
What a finish this is going to be in Motorland Aragon. We've had 2 belted. Will wherever he wants. We've already seen him overtake 2 men on the brakes into turn 12. Don't be surprised if we see him dive past Artigas in 1 corner's time as they drop downhill into turn 12. Here we are, they're going to flick left over the brim of the hill at turn 11.
Already, Jack.
He's already done it at turn 11. Who needs turn 12 when he can just drive through at turn 11? And Guevara hits the front with just over a lap to go.
Penny for the thoughts of Xavi Artigas now, who's just seen Guevara, who eased off the road at turn 12 a couple laps ago. Just steam up the inside of him to take the lead with a lap and a half to go. This is going to be such an interesting final lap. What kind of approach does Artigas take here? He's the championship leader, but given that the guy who's closest to him is now up ahead of him, he can't really play that careful championship game. He's just got to go out on the attack.
Guevara is like a bad smell to Xavi Artigas. He just cannot get rid of it. No
position, but he might be even lower than that. These are crucial championship points that could be disappearing out of the window for Pedro Acosta.
Big crash. Adrian Fernandez is spat over the top of his Husqvarna. Fortunately, he's up on his feet and running away, but that was a big moment. He is in the back of the pack, so it's not affected the leading contenders. They've not had to sit up, and it's still with half a lap remaining. Artigas versus Guevara. They've been able to detach them.
Here will be out of turn 15. If he can follow Artigas through this left-hander that's coming up after this right that they go through now, they'll tip it right, then tip it left. Can Guevara get himself into the slipstream and draft past Artigas down to the final corner? If the move's going to happen, it's going to happen here.
Well, Salvador's block passing to turn 14 has completely stopped any chance of those guys third and backwards from winning this race. It's down to these 2 men, as it has been all weekend long. Xavi Artigas versus Ethan Guevara. Here comes Guevara looking up the inside. Can he get the job done? Yes, he can. He manages to go through at turn 16. Can he hold it? Here comes Artigas. Artigas has got it on the comeback, and it's sweet revenge surely for Xavi Artigas. Guevara will try, and Guevara takes it. It's unbelievable. By 17 1/1000ths of a second, seconds on the grid. Remember the name, Ethan Guevara.
How did he do that? Everything that went on in his race, from 22nd on the grid, he made all that progress. He led within about 4 laps. Then he dropped back twice. The collision with his teammate, he was eased wide by Artigas, and he still pinches it on the finish line. His teammate, by the way, Daniel Holgado, looked like there was a little bit of arguing, a little bit of handbags across the line with, I think it was David Salvador, who ended up taking 3rd position. They seemed to be aiming maybe an arm or a leg at each other as